All right. We going down to Texas. Gotta make that trip down to Jerry's World. Oh, Dallas Cowboys. 7-10 last year. Bet MGM got him at 7.5 again this year. Whoopee. Way to go, Dallas. Way to go. 5th overall strength of schedule. And what is this about, y'all? Dak Prescott, Michael Parsons, all the big names, they want their money. Parsons complaining he wants out. Dak coming off an injury. I don't know. It's more or less of a sorry. I need to cue up my circus music because it seems like that's what it is down there in Dallas. 9 out of 10 years. Or 10 out of 10 years, pretty much, recently. But, again, they're not a scrub team. Like I said, won 7 games without the starting quarterback. Got them at 7.5 this year. What went wrong with Dallas? What went wrong? Because everybody on the shows, that's all in the videos, all on the networks, they always put the Cowboys to the top of the list as if this is some team that is supposed to compete for a Super Bowl. You might be competing for something. It might be for last place in your division. But tell me what happened last year before we fast forward and take a look at what the Cowboys did and how they can try to turn this thing around and get another Super Bowl before Jerry Jones leaves this earth. Talk to me, y'all, man. What's on your mind about the Cowboys,
man? Well, we're going to go on down here to talk about these doggone Cowboys here. How about them Cowboys? Last year, they won 7 games last year. You know, Dak Prescott went down. You know, we needed Dak Prescott out there, man. You got to throw that ball out there to CD Lamb. You know, Brandon Cooks out there, they weren't doing what they supposed to do, but we had that boy Turpin. I tell you, that boy good, boy. Coming over there with the team up sports, you know, he was returning the ball. He's all pro 2 years in a row. But for some reason, man, these Dallas Cowboys, every year they make us cry. I'm not a crying man, but I cry every time my Cowboys lose when they go to the playoffs, and they lose every time, man. Hey, forget all that, man. These Cowboys, they're always a disappointment. They're very undisciplined, and it seems that when they actually get into the nitty-gritty, they seem to lose all the time. I don't know why they lose all the time. You can tell, I don't know. Can anybody tell me why they have one of the most talented rosters year after year after year and continue to lose and not hold up their end of the bargain as far as going out there putting some wins for those Dallas Cowboys fans? You know, they're always, you know, projected to go to the Super Bowl. They're always projected to do this and that. And for some reason, they don't never do what they're supposed to do. And I'll be honest with you, with the Michael Parsons fiasco, asking for a trade, with Trayvon Diggs' contract, I don't know. This team last year, they do what they do every year. That's disappointing. But they were even more disappointed last year because they didn't even make the playoffs. They down there fighting with the New York Giants for the bottom of the NFC East. But they were just a disappointment last year, and they normally do exactly what you expect them to do. Be super hyped and not live up to expectations. That's what they do down there in Texas with them Dallas Cowboys. Hey, the Texans, they looking mighty fine over there. They might take over things down here in Texas. You know, I might be a Texas fan. That boy C.J. Stroud. I don't know, Dak Prescott, you better get your act together. I might become a C.J. Stroud fan. But I'm going to turn it over to Shakes and let him talk about these Cowboys. How about them Cowboys?
Hey, yeah, man. How about them Cowboys? America's team, right? Well, supposedly America's team. But I think the railing started to fall off this season before the season began with some of the offensive linemen, you know, retiring and things like that. And then the rails really came off during the season when Dak got hurt, and also when I think Trayvon Diggs got hurt. So that tore their season apart, man. So that was a destruction of the Dallas Cowboys. And hey, as a Giant fan, I love seeing that, man. You know, I couldn't think about anything sweeter, anything better than seeing the Cowboys go down in destruction, man. I love it, you know. But yeah, like I said, that was a downfall for them last year, man. They're gonna have even more of a downfall again this year coming up. So I can't wait to see the destruction of that coming up this year too. You know, and then they had what got rid of the coach, Mike McCarthy and stuff like that. I mean, not that he was gonna make a difference, but I think, hey, that was a good luck charm for them. You know, get rid of Mike McCarthy. Now they got Schottenheimer in there. Let's see what he's gonna do this season. But it's gonna be tough sledding, man. With Dak coming back off the injury, Trayvon coming off the injury, and Micah Parsons won a new contract. So hey, the drama is all good in Dallas. You know what I'm saying? Only thing they're missing right now is J.R. Ewing. Let's go Cowboys. Coach, what do you got?
Well, as the numbers are going to tell you, points scored 21st, yards 17th. The best unit was pass yards at 11. Pass touchdowns were at 13, so you're above middle of the pack. The pass interceptions, you're at 22nd. Rush yards, you're at 27. And rush touchdowns, dead last, 32nd. Defensively, points scored, you're 31st. Total yards, 28. Pass yards, 17th. Pass touchdowns, 24th. Interceptions, 12th. Rush yards, 29th. And rush touchdowns, dead last, also there at 32nd. Bottom line is, they couldn't stop the run. And they couldn't stop you from rushing the football into the end zone. That's the truth. Back to you, NYG.
Yeah. They couldn't run the football or stop the run. And yet, when you look at the losses, you lose Rico Dwaddle, who was, I believe, your top rusher last year. You lose Chauncey Golston, edge rusher. DeMarcus Lawrence, edge rusher. Carl Lawson, edge rusher. And Linval Joseph and Carlos Watkins from the defensive line. I don't know about you guys, but so far, we'll see what they added. I'm not feeling too confident based on what I'm seeing that they lost. Because the Cowboys, if they can't run or stop the run, you're done. Because we all know what Dak Prescott's going to eventually do, right? Right. But nah, I have to tease the Cowboys. I got to tease on this episode. If you think I wasn't. But seriously, y'all, which one of these losses, man? I've said DeMarcus Lawrence. I wanted him to come to the Giants. Daggone it. That would have been lovely. But we still got Chauncey Golston. You got one of you guys, damn it. But I think DeMarcus Lawrence, they're going to miss the most. Who y'all got?
Well, NYG, you said DeMarcus Lawrence, and that does hurt. But the guy I want to talk about today is going to be Zach Martin. It hurts my heart. It really hurts my heart that Zach Martin is gone. He's retired. He's going on to greener pastures, and we're going to see him with a gold jacket here soon because he was the man when he was here. He started that whole offensive line thing over here with the Dallas Cowboys. And he ain't going to be back there protecting Dak Prescott. And we all know what Dak Prescott does when he's under pressure. He makes mistakes. We can't have those mistakes. So, yeah, Zach Martin's my guy, man. He blocked the eyes like Aaron Donald. And he was just down there. He was a beast. But on the real tip, yeah, they're going to miss Zach Martin, man. Zach Martin is going to be a huge loss for them. We're going to see if one of those Tyler guys that they have there can take over for them. And it's going to be hard to replace a Hall of Famer. As much as I joke on the Cowboys, that dude was a fixture for that Dallas Cowboys offensive line for years. And the injuries just started to pile up. And he's like, you know what? I ain't won nothing since I've been here anyway. I might as well go ahead and retire, get my gold jacket, and chill out. But Zach Martin's a huge loss for them. Cave, Who you got, brother?
Yeah, I was gonna say Zach Martin or DeMarcus Lawrence, but I'm gonna go off the grid. I'm gonna go with Cooper Rush. Cooper Rush is a huge loss for him because Cooper Rush has been in Dallas. He's been the guy who's been the backup, when things go wrong and you go to a quarterback shift or something, quarterback, out for the season. Cooper Rush has been there to stop the bleeding, as they say or whatever, and be that backup, that main backup QB number 2. And he's not there no more. And he's definitely going to be needed because Dak is coming off an injury. And I don't know, Dak may start the season, but they could have had Cooper there to start the season for him until Dak is ready. But I guess if Joe Milton's there, Joe Milton's going to be the guy. But I'm going to go with Cooper Rush, man. Like I said, that was a huge loss. He's been there for a minute now, and they're going to feel the effects of Cooper Rush leaving. And they don't have no backup plan if something happens with Dak going into the season. So I'm going to go with Cooper Rush, man. But, Coach, who do you got?
Thanks a lot, Dave. I really appreciate that. I agree with Pat in terms of Zach Martin, a golden domer, soon to be a gold jacket. I agree with NYG and Golston. Okay, I agree with you in Cooper Rush because you need that serviceable backup, especially when you have an injury-prone quarterback. But I'm going to add this one in, and he's not a trench guy. Brandon Cooks, veteran receiver. What are you going to give to help offset for CeeDee Lamb? Because if you don't have that veteran receiver with him, the focus can be on him. Hey, we see that the numbers said they had the number 11 in terms of passing yards. So, yes, they're going to go for that. But now if you don't have any other receiver that scares the defense, you're just going to – doesn't matter if he's in the slot, doesn't matter if he's on the outside. You're just going to bracket. You're going to call the coverage to him, and you're going to play one-on-one against everyone else until someone can beat you. So, right now, I would have to say it's Brandon Cooks to help the passing game because if it was number 11, if it doesn't improve, I can easily see that going below the middle of the pack. So that's all I have. Back to you, NYG.
Yeah. Again, Cowboys. Let's see what they did in free agency. They did a lot. Or at least it looks like a lot. Cave mentioned Joe Milton. Signed Miles Sanders, Javonte Williams to add to the backfield, make up for Rico Dwaddle. You bring in, I don't know, Paris Campbell's still playing. But you did go out and get George Pickens from the Steelers, so that should help CeeDee Lamb out. You snatch Dante Fowler Jr., you bring him in. You give Odigizua a big contract. I'm squinting to see if you did anything on a Kaiir Elam. You got him from the Bills. That's what you got on the back end. I don't know. Solomon Thomas, they signed him. I'm going to say George Pickens as far as the biggest impact because this list itself is underwhelming, to be honest with you. I mean, for the Cowboys, it's supposed to be so great and grand and have, be America's team and all this and all that. Nah, dog. This ain't it. Jerry Jones told y'all he was going to go all out, all in. George Pickens, good luck. Take it away, fellas.
All right, now, we heard you, Coach. He said we lost Brandon Cooks, so we went out there and we got George Pickens. And him and CeeDee Lamb out there together, those boys going to do a whole lot for us, man. That's a lot of weapons out there. We love our weapons down here in Texas, so we got plenty of them down here. You had Turpin out there with them. Hey, we got something going on. But George Pickens is definitely our biggest addition this year. Yeah. Wee-hoo! I love that boy George Pickens. That boy, he catches the ball over the middle of the field. He makes great catches, and he's going to do what it do out here in the D. But, yeah, George Pickens is definitely a good grab for them, man. Him and CeeDee Lamb out there together, man, that spells danger. And I don't care who the quarterback is. You can find a way to give the ball to George Pickens and CeeDee Lamb. Yeah, so George Pickens is my guy.
All right. For me, I'm going to go with Dante Fowler. After you lose DeMarcus Lawrence and you lose Chauncey Golston, I think Dante Fowler is a good pickup for those guys. I think he came on a 1-year, $8 million deal. So, hey, you need some pass rushing, you know. Of course, you know, Dallas, like I said, their defensive line needs some injection of talented players and stuff like that. And Dante Fowler come on the cheap for 1 year for pass rushing. Yeah, that's what they needed, man, and stuff like that. And I could also said George Pickens. That was a great trade as well to get George Pickens to add with CeeDee Lamb. But I'm going to go with Dante Fowler. They needed that pass rush since they got rid of DeMarcus Lawrence and Golston is gone. But, Coach, who do you got as your key addition?
It's re-signing of Diggy Zola. I mean, he's an athletic tackle. He's durable. He can play the pass. He's quick, explosive. He's mobile. He can use strength as well as speed. He can impact the defensive front in so many different ways. So he's the one that I think is the most impactful out of everything. So that's who I'm going to focus on this season. So with that being said, back to you guys.
Yeah, very underwhelming off season so far for the Dallas Cowboys because they all hype. So I'm trying to see what the hype is. Get me hyped up. This draft ain't get me hyped up. I do like Tyler Booker. Solid first overall pick for the Dallas Cowboys. They got an edge rusher, Donovan is out of Boston College. Shamar James from Florida. We'll see what he turns out to be. Phil Maffa, running back out of Clemson. So they add in there. The biggest thing the Cowboys do and the best thing they do really is offensive linemen. That's why I got Tyler Booker as the most impactful pick that they're going to have this year. Who y'all got?
I have to agree with you. Tyler Booker. We got another Tyler on the offensive line. Those Tylers, yeah. We're going to see if this Tyler works out for us as well. Tyler Booker, he's got to replace Zach Martin, man. You got a lot on your plate to replace a Zach Martin. That's for sure. Tyler Booker, I do believe he has to play at guard. His athleticism is decent, but what you hope with Tyler Booker is he don't turn into like a guy that we'll be talking about with the New York Giants, like an Evan Neal type. You got to let him get in there and let him move his feet. And I think the only position you should be playing him at is guard. Don't try to switch him out there to tackle. You're going to have to let Tyler Guyton play tackle and let Tyler Booker play that guard position because I don't believe he has the feet to play tackle in the NFL. But as far as a guard, I think he could be dominant, to be honest with you. And, you know, they got a whole offensive lineman academy right next door to their training facility. So that's why their offensive linemen are turning out pretty doggone good. They go right next door and get training. So it is what it is, man. I think Tyler Booker is the draft pick that they're going to like the most this upcoming year. But Cave, who you like, brother?
And I'm going to go with the second round pick, Donovan Ezeraku, man, out of Boston College, the edge rusher, man, the edge guy. I saw a lot of film on him too and stuff like that. And yeah, from Boston College, I watched a couple of games last year and stuff like that. And yeah, he stood out in that game. So that's really going to help them as far as edge. And, you know, because like I said, they lost DeMarcus Lawrence and Golston. So they had to replenish that stuff with Dante Fowler, Donovan Ezeraku, and also a sneaky good pick with Siobhan Revell, the cornerback out of East Carolina. He was supposed to be a first-round pick, but because of injuries, he missed the senior season. And he slipped to the third round. I was like, man, they got a steal on that, man. So those first 3 picks, man, good picks, and then Jaden Blue, the running back from Texas. So, hey, they replenishing, man. So I got to give them kudos for the top, top of their draft. But that's who I would. But mine would be Donovan Ezeraku. So, Coach, who do you like for the Dallas draft picks?
All right, now. First things first. Y'all didn't pick up on why the Cowboys like Tyler so much? Tyler, Texas. It's a perfect match. But seriously, you guys. I think it's a Johnny Cornelius. Yes, I like Tyler Booker as a guard, but a Johnny Cornelius, offensive lineman, you take him, 6th round, good flyer, let him develop. He played fairly well with Oregon, as a booking tackle to his former teammate. And he's the type of guy that, you know what, you can try and see what you can get out of him. He's fairly athletic. He's also, I don't know what they do out there in Oregon, but it just seems like they always have a nasty disposition. Maybe it's the weather. Maybe it's just being out there in Oregon, but I don't know what it is, but they have that nasty temperament, and they just want to punch people in the face. And he's that type of offensive lineman. So if you can get something out of him, he's the one that I think can be a draft pick that will be surprising and do very well for that team from down south. But with that being said, I'm going to turn this over to the maestro, NYG.
Appreciate it, Coach. That team from down south. We're hanging out in the South now. We got the country music playing, man. Y'all hang out with us, man. Hit that like, hit that vibe. We got to get through this, man, with this Dallas Cowboys team, man, because when I'm looking at this roster, look all right offensively. Defensively, they look all right as long as they got Michael Parsons. What's the problem? What is the problem? The problem could be the quarterback. Is it the coaching? I need to know. Because talent-wise, okay, I'll name a couple names. CeeDee Lamb, George Pickens, like that. The 3 Tylers on offensive line. Terrence Steele, you still got him. Javonte Williams and Miles Sanders, I think they can hold you down from the running back position. And Dak Prescott. You paid him, so you stuck with him. He is what he is. Not a bad quarterback. Defensively, got Mazi Smith, Odigizor. Most of all, you got Michael Parsons. So, I mean, again, what is the problem with this team? They got talent. But I want to know for my NFL aficionados, they're going to break it all down for y'all. Pat, Cave, Coach, y'all know where you at. Pat, defense, Coach, coaching, Cave, offense, man. Break down this team and tell me and the fans out there, is this a Super Bowl caliber roster? Is this a Super Bowl caliber team? I want to know. They want to know. They want to know about the Dallas Cowboys. Break it down, y'all.
All right. On offense, to answer your question, NYG, no, they are not a Super Bowl caliber team this year coming up, man. They have more question marks than some teams have. Because coming to the season, a $64 million question is going to be, is Dak Prescott? How is he going to be after the injury? How is he going to be playing? How is he going to perform? And then also for Brian Schottenheimer, the coach, what type of offense you going to run? What's the game plan? And it looks like they got a running back carousel. 1 year it's Ezekiel, next year it's Tony Pollard and Rico Dowdle. Now it's Javonte Williams is going to be the running back now, with Miles Sanders backing him up. They're good at the receivers with CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens right there, and also they got Jonathan Mingo I think a second year player. So they got a young receiver in the background right there. Jalen Tolbert, another wide receiver, you know, and then that tight end, they got Jake Ferguson, and of course Luke Schoonmaker, you know, the tight end. So they get in there at that position, but then the big question is going to be in the offensive line. With the offensive line shuffle, with Zach Martin retiring, Travis Frederick's gone. Now you got all the Tylers on the line: Tyler Guyton, Tyler Smith, Tyler Booker, Terrence Steele, and Cooper Beebe, the center. And Cooper Beebe, like I said, that was his rookie season last year at center. And like I said, hopefully he develops more and gets better and stuff like that. So we'll see. The offensive line is going to be their biggest question mark. How will they all perform this year? Because if they are competent and they can perform good, they might end up having a good season. But if that offensive line is in flux, you know, because Tyler Booker, I think he's going to be out. Yeah, he's going to be out with an injury, so he's not going to be there for the beginning of the season, I believe. So now that's going to be another reshuffling on the offensive line. But if that line can get healthy and they stay together, and like I said, CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens, great 1-2 punch, man. You know, and then Dak, if he comes back healthy, hey, they can have a good season. But that's what we don't know, man. But their team this year relies on this offense, how good this offense can be. Because I'm not looking so much on the defensive side. But I'll let Big Pat tell you how the defense is going to be.
All right, this defense here with the Dallas Cowboys, man. Dante Fowler, I'm not too, excited about. Mozzie Smith has his ups and downs. Now, I do like Odigizua. He's a monster. Micah Parsons is a monster if he's there. Overshown, always hurt. Kenneth Murray Jr. gets hurt. Trayvon Diggs is hurt. But when he's in there, he gets burnt a lot because he takes a lot of chances. Malik Hooker, he's all right. Donovan Wilson, he's a box safety, and he gets hurt too, to be honest with you. Kyer Elam, can he be that number one corner for him if Trayvon Diggs goes down? And they lost the guy. He went the little slot cornerback they had, Jones, but they got Deron Bland over there. But Bland has been kind of bland after that one season where he got 5 pick sixes. So it's looking kind of bad. And then their depth is not good at all either, to be honest with you. So, this Cowboys team, are they a Super Bowl caliber team? Hell no. They're not a Super Bowl caliber team. But, hey, we them Cowboys, and we going to go to the Super Bowl every year. They tell us we're going to go to the Super Bowl every year, and we're going to go to the Super Bowl this year. We're going to do it. But, Coach, talk about the coaching over there with the Dallas Cowboys, man. What they going to do over there?
Well, Pat, NYG, Cave, you have a rookie head coach. Now, in fairness, he's experienced in being in the NFL. He knows the business. His uncle and his dad were coaches in the NFL. His dad was a head coach of the Browns, of the then Washington Redskins, the Chiefs, the Chargers. So he's been around and he's been taught how to be a head coach. He's been a prolific offensive coordinator, coaching at many different stops. But it's always still different your first time going from any coordinator spot to the head man. And then on top of that, at that team down south in Dallas. So the pressure is going to be on him right off the bat. Y'all said it. What type of offense is he going to give you? Most of the times his offenses need a good running game. So we're going to see, because they were dead last in terms of scoring touchdowns and one of the worst in terms of rushing overall. Now, you do have some talent in the wide receiver room, primarily CeeDee Lamb. Pickens, we'll see. But on his coaching staff, you have Clayton Adams as an offensive coordinator, 7 years experience. I was surprised to see 2 former Scarlet Knights, Steve Shimko, quarterback coach, and Tyquan Underwood as assistant coaches over there. But hey, you're on the other side now, so I can't root for you. But you also brought in Matt Eberflus, who was the head coach in Chicago. But he's still a pretty good defensive mind. So can that help going forward? Can he control the defense to let Schottenheimer really manage the team? It's still to be determined. You don't know what you're going to get out of this offense, this team from the coaching staff. So right now, it's still to be determined. So I'll leave it there. With that being said, I'm turning it back over to you guys.
Yeah. You know what else is to be determined? If this team can win 7.5 games or not. That's what the bet MGM got them at. And I'm looking at this schedule, and I am like, I'm trying, y'all. I'm trying to find the 8 wins. You get to beat up on the New York Giants. Cool. You get Vegas. You get Carolina. You get the Jets. Chicago. I don't know. What are you thinking there? Arizona. I mean, these are the teams on par with Dallas Cowboys at this moment, to be honest with you. That's why I'm saying 7.5. I don't know. They got to win 8 games. They won 7 last year, so they right there again. What y'all got? Over, under? 7.5, man.
Looking at this schedule here. Philadelphia, that's a loss. I'll give them over the New York Giants twice because we can't beat them for some reason. And until we beat them, I'm always give the Cowboys over the Giants. That Bears game is going to be interesting. If they wind up losing to the Bears, I can see them losing to the Packers. And don't get it twisted. That Jets game is not going to be easy for them either. Because that Jets defense shows up and they allow Justin Fields make a couple of plays against them, they can lose that game too. And Carolina's no give me either for them. Carolina's no give me for them because if their defense shows up, their offense for sure could put up enough points to beat the Cowboys. Washington, I think they get beat by Washington at least once, at the very least. Denver, I think they get beat. I think the Cardinals can beat them, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
The Raiders, I give that to them. Philly, no, they getting beat twice by Philly. I don't think they can beat Kansas City. I don't think they can beat Detroit. I don't think they can beat Minnesota. I don't think they can beat the Chargers. And then you got Washington right after that. I'm going under, the down under. I see them maybe getting like 6-7 wins again.
Cave. Any optimism for Dallas? Over, under?
I'm gonna go against. I'm gonna go over. I think they get 8 wins. I mean, Dallas and typically always get like 10, 11 wins. They got a lot of talent. They got talent on their team. Not as much as they had in the past, but they got some talent on their team. And looking at their schedule, it looked like they got like a lot of road games early in the season, and some of those road games against teams that, like I said, they on par with, so they could win some of those games. And those are not like the toughest games to win. The only one was that at the Broncos. That's gonna be that's a tough one against the Broncos on the road. But against the Cardinals, what's that? Carolina, the Jets. Yeah, I think they could get those games. I'm gonna give them 8 wins. I think they could get 8 wins on the season at least. They had 7 last year. They had 7 in a down year last year, so I could give them 8 with Dak back. If he plays most of the season.
What you got, Coach?
So
over, under?
First of all, it's under. No question about it. That's easy. I could easily see them go 0-9 to start the season.
Woo!
I can also, I'll be honest, I can also see them getting the Giants. I can see them getting possibly the Jets, possibly Carolina, yes, possibly Arizona, possibly yes. Realistically, no. I think I think more than likely they'll probably get New York. And they always play Washington's tough, especially in the beginning. So I think they can probably get Washington. I don't think they're going to get Green Bay. I don't think they're going to get Chicago. Chicago's going to play up because their former head coach is the defensive coordinator. So there's going to be a lot of energy over there. So Carolina, we already talked about Carolina previously. So they're a tough team. Denver, Arizona, it's tough. I mean, Kyler Murray, Texas boy. So is he going to show out in his home state? And the other reason why I said I wouldn't be surprised if they go over. Don't forget they have a new head coach, and it's a new ball game. Yep. So that's why I say it wouldn't surprise me. And then on the back end, Vegas, yeah, Philly, Kansas City, Detroit, Minnesota, Chargers. That second Washington, no. And then that New York game, what is it going to be? Is it going to be the Toilet Bowl?
Back into that schedule is kind of brutal.
Yeah, so
think about it, because and just like Cave said, I think that kind of works against them because the teams you on par with, you got to go to their crib and try to beat them. You know what I'm saying? You got to go to Chicago and beat Chicago. You got to go to the Jets. You got to go to Carolina. You got to go to Denver, and you got to go to Vegas, and of course the Giants. I don't think they're going to win 8 games. I think it's going to be right at 7 again, to be honest with you. 6, 7 wins. That's where I see this team. And for all that hoopla and rah-rah and they do over there, and for everything that Jerry Jones talks, and for all the money they done paid Dak Prescott, and you come out with 7 wins again, wow.
Postman.
Wow. Because they ain't do you no favors with this schedule. And the problem for the Cowboys is going to be depth. Yep. Pat said it. Because, especially on the back end, when you look at a schedule, how I be looking at schedules now, I'm like, okay, is this team going to be healthy during the meat of their schedule? I don't know if they're going to be healthy during the meat of their schedule. They do have a bye week, week 10, right in the middle. So that's decent. That's pretty good. But that's rough down the stretch. That's rough. You get Philly, Kansas City, Detroit, Minnesota, 4 games in a row. That could be 0-4 for sure.
And don't mess around and lose to the Giants. Please don't lose to the Giants. If you lose to the Giants, man, that can start an onslaught. You mess around, lose to Philly, and then lose to the Giants, and then the Bears and Packers coming there with confidence and messing around and lose to the Jets. Then you got to go to Carolina. Then you got Washington, Denver. Then you got Arizona. Yeah. How about them Cowboys? I'm telling you. Mess around and lose to the Giants if you want to. And have your confidence shaking. We can't beat the Giants. We always kick their ass.
I think the Giants might be a bad matchup for this team this year. I'm just going to say that. And speaking of, that is where we going next, fellas. We getting up out of the South. We're going back up top. We're going to New York. We're going to the New York Giants. Yes, the time has come to talk about our squad, the New York Giants, and I saved it for last on purpose. You know I did. We're getting up out of Jerry's world, man. We're taking a plane, train somewhere. We got to get up out of here. Because it's funky down here with these Dallas Cowboys, man. Take me up top, Pat. Let's go, man. Let's ride.